So I've got two problems. Well, I've got more than that, but we've got two to deal with now. We've got this problem here, which looks like this. And then I've got this problem. And I can't sort out this problem until I see how much of this we have to sort out this problem. I bought this to build this to sort that, but before I sort that, I need to see how much of this is left over. Hey, you following me? Alright, let's get into it. Ooh, I didn't know I had that there. Haha, yeah. I'd usually avoid cuts like this, but the tracksaw batteries are out on site at the moment. Whew, glad we made it through that one. Alright, so here we are building Uncle Knacker's portable router table. Just ripping down this 17mm form ply to the measurements that come with the plans. Want to get yourself a set? I'll leave the link in the description for his video at DIY for Knuckleheads. Everything's really well explained and detailed. The best bit, only set you back the price of 2 soy boy lattes. There's a few shapes to cut out. I did try my skill saw, but boy did I put that thing through hell when I used to build patios. I've actually bought 2 new blades for it on a separate occasion, but wrong size both times. Wasn't the worst outcome though. Ended up becoming a ripper mates with me jigsaw by the end of this. Me and him didn't used to get along too well. Got him straight lines purring now. The irony of how handy a router table would be right now. Oh, I'm building it. Forgot about that bit. It's going up good, guys and lady. For going off my YouTube stats, I know there's one of you out there watching it. It's probably the wife though, isn't it? Now these little side pockets, my own little Frankenstein addition to the table. Also end up whipping together a drawer-like thing for the guts. I do have some amount of router stuff I'd like to keep congregated. So obviously being form ply, you're going to want to screw this bad boy together. No shame in using screws, mate. I actually insist on using screws for the form ply. You may get away with the screwless on the normal ply, but we'll touch base on that later. Give her a polish up before belting it together. Everyone likes to have their fingers cramping up in tight spaces, doing the same motion back and forward. Actually, anyhow, drizzle out some of this useless stuff. I actually don't think PVA bonds at all to form, but we'll go through the motions. And screw in all the pre-drilled holes, give her a touch up with a moist rag. I'll set that aside and get cracking on with the fence. Cut out a couple of these triangles here for the bracing. Oh, still fresh blade. I'd suggest pushing through your hole saw before cutting your timber into a tiny piece of timber. I reckon that's caught a few of us out before, eh? Give it a last zip zap zooping, and one of the most important parts, the chamfer. Stop the sawdust holding your project off the fence. Nothing like having to do things twice, you know? Looks like some Tom and Jerry skirting board. Little mouse hole. Where I said we'd come back to that earlier, that's right here. While building the fence, at the time it seemed like it came together with the screwing and the gluing. Dust port box for some reason wasn't screwed, which I had my concerns about, but I trusted the process, and much to my delight, it fell apart a few days later. Simple enough fix though, just add some screws. Nothing a screw or two can't fix. Out of all the shit in my shed, and apparently I don't own a hacksaw. Stop looking! I found it a few days later. Some process for one cut though. I'm actually pretty sure you can cut alley with a timber blade, but I do own an alley blade, so it wasn't worth risking it on the timber blade, you know? And I couldn't be bothered Googling. Whatever base plate you decide to pick, find center, and use that as a template to set your template? Stick it down with the old faithful double-sided tape trick and give it a good hard routing. Mark and knife and chisel will be needed to clean up the corners for a snug fit. Ha! So shiny! Find centre again, plonk your router down, give it a trace and hog out its new forever home. This has been me all day, working in flowing water. It's ideal for woodworking. Finally, the last of the routing. Square up your rails, hold them down with some temporary screws, template your template, rinse and or repeat. This bit here got a little tricky for me though. The Sherwood plate isn't pre-drilled and the Timbercon bloke said it's made for bigger routers, not trim routers, which means I'd use a plunge base to clear the plastic insert on the table, and even then I wasn't able to use the normal holes on the router. I had to go wider and use the holes that are made for locking down the attachments that are usually screwed down from the top of the router. So the holes were quite hard to see through this mark yourself template that Sherwood supply. This here was the most stressful bit. There's no coming back from that. Oh, it's really coming together now. Place your fence square on the top and mark your rail positions and square your marks across. This will be for the clamps. What the hell am I doing on my square there? Now you got to rob a few bits from, other bits. Punch a hole in it and slide it on in. And she's done. She's done, mate. You! Right, problem I found with this little router plate is you got to drill your own holes to suit your router, but the countersink throws up some burrs. So I'll clean them up with the Dremel, and this hole here is slightly off where it needs to be. So if your screw doesn't sit flush, sits a little like this and exposes this corner. So I'll countersink it a bit more, see if I can fix it, but other than that, I'm just probably going to Dremel off one side of the screw there. Tell you what, you're going to be pretty happy about that. Good job, Uncle Knackers. So yeah, that's Uncle Knacker's router table from DIY for Knuckleheads. If you managed to find my channel, I imagine you're well aware of his. If not, go check him out. Links in the description. Go get yourself a set of plans. This thing's an absolute game changer.